In this video, I'm going to show you how to do infinite scroll in React with TanStack React query. As you can see, this is one of project, and when I scroll down, as you can see, we have the load more button. When I click on that, it should be fetching the page 2. When I scroll down again, we have the load more, and as you can see, we have the loading more when I click load more. Nice. And also, I'm going to showing you how if we not have this button, and when I scroll down, it will automatically fetch the page, fetch the URL here, fetch data. And we are going to use React intersection observer. As you can see, when I scroll down, we have the loading here, and then we get the to do page 2. When I scroll down again, we have page 3. We get also the loading, and of course, this is infinite scroll. When we on the last page that there's no other data, of course, we not get this loading. All right, that's what we're gonna be building in this video. Hopefully this is helpful, and let's get started. All right, so now let's generate React application. I'm gonna use vite, so I can say npm create vite add lattice, and for the application name, I'm gonna say infinite scroll. And also I'm going to use template, so I can say dash template. I'm going to use React.js, which is React TypeScript. And now we can say cd into infinite scroll, and we can say npm install to install all the dependency inside our vite application. All right, it's done. So now let's open that into Visual Studio Code. We can say code and then dot. So now let's open the terminal. Let's run the app, npm run dev. It should be open localhost 5173. This is what we have. Great. And I just want to remove a couple file, or maybe we can just remove the content. Let's remove the index.css. Let's go to app CSS. We also need to remove all the content. Go to app, and here I just want to remove all of this. Let's remove that, and I just want to returning div with h1. Let's say app. Let's remove the use state and everything up here. Now we just have app. Nice. So the first thing I'm going to showing you is we are going to fetch normally with just fetch. We're not going to use React TanStack query, and we are going to showing the data into this div here. So let's go to JSON placeholder, and I'm going to use to do, which is this one. So we're going to fetch this JSON placeholder link. So here, first, I just want to create a function called, let's say, fetch to do's, like so. And this is, I'm going to change that to async await function. So I can say async and then arrow function. And then in here, I can say const response set equals to await, and I'm going to use normal fetch, and here I'm going to put the URL, the JSON placeholder URL. Let's make this like so. Nice. And down here I just want to return what I'm doing. I want to return response.json, just like that. And we are going to run this. Oh, what I'm doing, fetch to do's, and I'm gonna run this inside the use effect. We can say use effect, and for the first time the application open, we need to run the fetch to do function, just like that. Oh yeah, of course, because we're using normal fetch here, we always need to store the data into the state. So we can say to do's and set to do's. Set equals to use state. Well, by default, it should be empty string, empty array. And we're not going to return this, but we are going to store that into the state. So we can say set to do's into response.json, just like so. We get this warning here because this is still need to wait until we get the data. So I think here we can say const data set equals to await response.json, like so. And then now we can put the data into the set to do's function here, like so. And now we can just console log the to-dos. Here we go. And let's take a look what we have on the console. Let's make it bigger. As you can see, we have 200 data here. Nice. Now I'm going to add params in this URL. I'm going to say underscore page set equals to 1. Now we should have just 10 data. Okay, nice. So now we are going to use this to-dos data and map through inside this return here. Now let's do that. I'm going to say to-dos dot map. We grab individual to-do, and then in here I want to return. I think it's better when we create another component that return this to-do card. So inside inside the source, I'm going to create file. So this file, it should be inside the components folder, and inside the components folder we have to-do card.tsx. Nice. So in here I can say rifce. Let's save and go back. I'm going to return to-do card here, just like so. Now we should see 10 to-do card. As you can see, we have some warning. Let's fix that. We can say key equals to to-do.id. We don't get the auto complete here because we don't create the type of this to-do. So anyway, we can do that inside a source. I want to create types, and let's just say to-do.ts. In here we can say export. I'm going to use interface to-do, and this interface have an ID. ID is string, and also have, let's do that, title, and the title it's also string. Nice. So now let's go back to app here, and I'm going to specify this to do here, or you can just put that in here, and we can say to do like so, just like that. Wait, what I'm doing, here we go. And now as you can see, if I say to do dot, we have ID. Nice, great. Now it should be working. Nice. Let's remove the console. The next thing, we need to send the to do. Let's send to do set equals to do. As you can see, we get some warning because to do card not allowed to do props. So let's create the props. So here I can say interface to do card props, and here I can say to do, and this to do should have type to do come from the types that we create on the type/to do file. And here we can say functional component, and then we are gonna put the to do card props, and now we can grab the, I can say control space, and we get the to do, right? So instead returning div, I just want to returning just vite, and in here I want to say to do dot title. Let's add the class name here. Class name set equals to, I'm going to styling this a little bit, to do card, and we can also add the key. Key should be to do dot id. And let's go back to app here. I want to showing you something. So inside the to do card, when I click control and then space, as you can see, we not get the on click, etc., the props that should available on p tag. So how do we make sure that the to do card, it should be a p tag, which is paragraph tag? So to do that, we can interface the to do card props by add extends. It's really important if you're working with TypeScript. So here I'm going to say extends into React.html attribute. And inside this HTML attribute, I'm going to put HTML paragraph element. HTML, as you can see, we have anchor tag, area, body, and there's a lot of here, div. Yeah. So now I'm going to say HTML paragraph element, just like so. And now by saving that, and here I'm going to put the rest of the props like so. And I'm going to put that in here. So let's say props. Now, when I go back here, I can say control space. And as you can see, we get about, we get, I believe, on click, I think. Yeah, we have on click capture, and etc. Basically, the props that are available on paragraph HTML tag. Nice. So now let's go back here, and this is what we have, some title render on our browser. And now what we need to do, let's just add class name. Wait, let's add class name, call app. Let's go to app CSS here, and I just want to add some just simple styling. So I'm gonna grab the app, and all the things, all the content inside the app, I want to put that on the center. So text align center, and also to do card, let's do background into let's say red, or I can hover this and just random color. And also for the padding, I'm gonna say 1 rem. For the font size, let's do 2 rem. Great. So this is what we have, just to better way showing you how the infinite scroll works. Nice. So now let's install the TanStack React query. Let's go to tanstack.com and then go to installation tab. Let's install that. I'm going to use npm. Let's copy this command. Let's open the terminal. Let's paste that right here. npm install tanstack/React query. So let's go back to TanStack React query documentation, and let's go to quick start. And the first thing what we need to do is wrapping our application with query client provider. So let's go back to, I like to put that inside my main.tsx. If you're using Next.js, you should put that inside your layout, right? So in here, I'm going to wrap this app with query client provider like so, and put the app component inside the query client provider as a children. And in here, we need to send the query or client, I think, client. The client, it should be a query client. Let's say client set equals to new query client, like so. And we need to put this query client as a client here, just like that. And so now we good to go to working with TanStack React query. So let's close the terminal and let's go back to app here. And what we need to do first, let's go to let's see, infinite queries, and we are gonna use this useInfiniteQuery. So let's go back here under the fetch to do. I'm gonna say cons. We can destructuring value from useInfiniteQuery. Of course, we need to import that. And this useInfiniteQuery have a query key. So let's do that. Query key, it should be, I'm gonna give a name to do's, like so. And also for the function, not function, query fn, which is query function, I'm gonna put the fetch to do's that we create up here. But as you can see, inside our fetch to do here, we basically store the data into the set to do's. So we don't need to use this one, I think, because now we working with TanStack React query, we can directly get the data in here. Okay. So first thing is I'm going to remove this. I also want to remove this await, and we need to just return response.json, just like so. We also need to remove the use effect. We don't need that. Let's remove that. And here I'm going to send the initial page param, and I'm going to send that to 1. We can access the initial page param value inside this fetch to do. So here, basically, I can say like props, and I just want to console log so you can see the value. So let's say props, and we still get an error in here because we don't get the next page param. So in here, we are gonna run the function. For now, just say, let's grab the last page, and I just want to return last page here. Let's say return last page. I'm gonna go back here and explain what it is, but for now I just want to console log this prop so you can see. And yep, just leave it like so. And let's go back here And now let's refresh. As you can see, inside the fetch to do, we know the fetch to do is run. That's why we get this value here. And inside these props, we get the direction, meta, page param, query key, signal, etc. So this page param is going to become from the initial page param. If I change that to 10, now as you can see, it should be 10. Let's refresh that and see. As you can see, it's 10. Of course, by default, I like to say 1 because I'm going to put that inside this page here. So of course, we can destructuring that, and I can say page params, and I can put that in here, just like so. And of course, I should change this to backtick, like that. Because we're working with TypeScript, I think here we can just add the type of this page param. It should be a number, just like so, and the error should be gone. So now let's go back, and here we can grab the data, and I think let's try to console log data, what we have here. Let's refresh and see. The first thing is undefined, and then we have pages, page param 1, and then pages, we have all the data in here. Nice. So now we can go back here and let's see our to-dos here is not going to be work now because the data, it should be inside this data object. So as you can see inside the data, we have the this object, pages and page param. We need to access the pages, and inside the pages, we get all the data. So now what we need to do is, instead of doing to-dos, I think we need to just comment that, and in here I just want to maybe I just want to create another variable and return that in here. The variable name should be content. Let's create that in here. Content set equals to, I can say data dot pages, and this pages should be array, so we can say pages dot map. We grab the to-dos, and for now just want to console log the to-do so you can see the value inside the to-dos here. Let's save and see what we have. Let's refresh, and as you can see, to-dos is basically array. And here, of course, we can map through this to-dos. We can say to-dos.map. We grab the individual to-do, and in here, we are going to return that. So let's say return, and we are going to return this to-do card. So I'm going to copy that, paste that right here. Remove this comment, and now the to-do is get a warning because this is have any type, so we can fix that. The to-dos should be to-do with array, like so, and it will work. Let's remove the to-do console here, and now we should have this data. We can also get the status value. So let's go back to documentation. As you can see, we can grab this status. The status have a value pending error, so we can use that. So in here, I can grab the status. So I can say status. Let's do status, and down here, I'm going to check that first before we returning this content here. So first, I'm going to say if the status is equals to, let's say pending. As you can see, we have three values: error, pending, and success. If the value is pending, I'm gonna say return paragraph, and here I'm gonna say loading, just like so. And then I'm gonna say if the status is error, should be 3 equals error. I'm gonna return. In here, I'm gonna say vite. And I'm going to say message, or just say error. Error, I'm going to do, we can grab the error from this object here, object destructuring here. We can say error, and here we can say error.message. Nice. So now let's create button load more. So I'm going to do button here. Let's do button and load more. Let's save and let's take a look what we have. As you can see, we have the load more button. When I click that, I need to fetch the other data, which is, as you can see now, When I refresh, go to the network, and here it's fetching the page 1. When I click this load more, I need to fetch the page 2. So let's go back here, and when this button click, I want to run the function. So let's say on click, and the function that I'm going to run is basically the fetch next page. Fetch next page come from this useInfiniteQuery, so we can grab that from here. We can say fetch next page like so, and we can run the function in here just like that. Of course, we need to run the function. Nice. So now let's try. I'm going to make it small, and when I click, as you can see, the page is fetching a lot of objects. What really happened? That is because here we're returning last page. The get next page responsible to returning increment of this page param. That's mean I'm going to showing you here. If I say return 2, when I refresh, when I click this load more, as you can see here, this is get the page 2 now, because now we're returning 2 in this get next params. If I do 3 and I save, if I click load more, as you can see, now page is 3. So how do we make sure that this return is increment the initial params? To do that, we need to do some tricks basically. So here inside the get next param, we can grab the last page, and also we can get the all page. So let me showing you what the value inside in here. So I'm going to console log that. Console log last page and all page. So I'm going to refresh here. As you can see, last page we have 10, and all page we have array 1. When I click that, as you can see, now last page still get a 10 because that's the last page that we click in here. And all page, now we have 2. The first thing is the data that we grab from the page 1, and this is for the page 2 or page 3, I think. Yep, page 3. So now we can increment this all page length, array length here, and we get the exactly value that we need, right? So here, I think now what we need to do is let's return all pages dot length plus 1. Okay, so now let's try to refresh and see what we have on the network. See, we have page 1, we have page 2, load more again, we have page 3, page 4. Okay, it's working. So now I want to, when I click load more, this button load more here is to be becoming something like loading. So I think we can grab the is fetching next page inside this object here. So let's do that. Is fetching next page. If that is true, let's go back to button. I'm going to add condition in here. So let's do if the is fetching is true, I'm going to showing loading more, or else I just want to showing this load more button. Let's cut that out and put that in here like so. Let's save, and now I'm going to click load more. As you can see, I think I'm going to, let's just say slow 3G. And here, when I click load more, as you can see, now it's loading more and we get the data. Click that again, loading more, get the data. Nice. So next thing, I'm going to show you how if we get the limit of the data. So for example, I'm going to just copy this link here. I'm going to copy that, go back to the browser, and I'm going to change the page into, let's say, page 20. I'm going to hit enter, we still get the data, but when I go to page 21, as you can see, we get the empty array because we don't get more data when we go to page 21. So for example, here, I'm going to change the initial page param to 21. Let's copy and paste this. I'm going to comment that, and I'm going to say 20 plus 1. Okay, so let's refresh, And here, this is the page 20. When I click that, page 21. And now we should see this load more. It's disabled because now we don't get any data when we click the load more. But as you can see, we still can click that. That's the problem. So now we can fix that by grab the value inside this object. We can grab value from has next page. If the has next page is false, I'm going to change this value, or I'm going to disable this button. So let's say disable set equals to, if there is no has next page or has next page is false, I'm going to disable the button. So let's refresh and see. When I click the load more, we get page 21, but the button is still enabled. What the hell is going on? We still see this not disabled. That is because this is still returning number. So if we want to set that to disable, of course, we need to set this return to undefined. So how do we do that? In here, we can add simple condition. So the first thing is I'm going to create variable called page, or maybe next page set equals to, if the last page dot length is not 0, that means if the last page have a value, I'm going to, let's say 20 plus 1 for now, or else I just want to returning undefined. So down here, what I'm going to do, let's returning the next page, just like so. Okay, so now let's try to save and let's take a look what we have. So I'm going to refresh. As you can see, the initial page param is 20. All right, we have 20 here. When I click, we have 21, but now the load more button is disabled. That is because we set the disable to has next page, and this has next page is true when the button here, when the value that returning in here is number. All right, nice. So now let's go back to disable, and of course I'm gonna set that disable when is fetching next page is true. So I'm gonna say or here and put the is fetching next page. And also we can make this more better. Here I can say if has next page is true, I'm gonna say load more, like so. Or if the has next page is false, that means there's no data when we want to fetch new more. And here I'm gonna say nothing. Let's do nothing more to load. Let's try. I'm going to refresh. Let's click load more. As you can see, now we get nothing more to load. Nice. So now let's go back and we need to change the initial page param to 1, and also it should be all pages dot length, like so. So the last thing I'm showing you is how if I don't want to this button. That means I like to, when I scroll down, it will load more automatically when I the bottom here, React intersection observer. We are going to use this package to help us to trigger when we on the bottom here, we fetch the load more here automatically. Nice. So now, of course, we need to install the package. Let's copy that. And here I'm gonna stop the server and install the React intersection observer. And we can run that again. Let's close the terminal. So to use that, it's pretty simple, basically. As you can see here, we need to just import this use in view and use that like so. I think I'm going to copy that to make it fast. I'm going to remove the threshold. You can play around with threshold if you want. And here I'm going to import the use in view. And I just want to use ref and in view. I'm not going to use entry. So now I'm going to set the ref into my button, because the button in the bottom of our element on the DOM, right? As you can see here, in the bottom is we have load more. So I'm going to put the ref inside this button. So I can say ref set equals to ref, just like so. And in view, I'm gonna do is, let's go to down here. I just want to run that inside the use effect, like so. And this use effect here will run every time the in view change. And in here, I'm gonna say if in view, or I think I just want to console log the in view so you can see. Console log in view, and let's see what we have. As you can see, the first thing is false. When I scroll down until we on the ref, which is on the button, it's showing true. As you can see, nice. So of course we can say if in view, for now just say console log fire. And of course we need to run this console log fire every time the has next page is true, right? So here I'm gonna say n has next page. Of course, we need to also put that inside the def dependency of this use effect. So let's try. I'm gonna refresh and fire, 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 fire. Nice. So instead of fire, of course, we need to run the fetch next page here, just like so. And of course, we need to put the fetch next page inside here as a dependency of this use effect. So now let's refresh. And as you can see, magic will be happen when I scroll down, boom, boom. As you can see, this is infinite scrolling, really cool. But as you can see down here, I like to put some loading when I scroll down. So here we can use is fetching next page. If that is true, I'm gonna put heading 3 loading, just like so. Let's refresh. I'm gonna set the network to slow 3G so you can see when I scroll down, as you can see, oh, we have loading here. We have loading here. We have data loading, data loading. Nice. But normally when we have this auto scroll, we don't need to have this button, right? So we can remove that. If I remove this, of course, now we don't get the ref. And of course, it's not gonna be work now. Let's do like so. And as you can see, it's not gonna be work because we don't put the ref anywhere we want. So now what we need to do is let's put that into our content. Let's go this one. If I do, for example, let's say inner ref, set equals to ref. Let's say ref. And we're going to grab this inner ref inside our to-do card. So let's grab that inner ref. This inner ref is basically react.ref. And I'm going to put HTML paragraph element like so. And I'm going to put the inner ref in here. Let's do inner ref and put that inside this p tag. So I can say ref set equals to inner ref, just like so. And now, as you can see, when I press, when I scroll, it's always fire, even when we're not on the bottom. That is because this ref here, it's on all my P component. So we need to check that. If the P is on the bottom in the last value, we need to put the ref. So in here, can add some simple condition. To do that, we can say if todos.length is equals to, we need to grab the index here. We can say index is equal to index. Let's say index plus 1. Let's do plus 1 inside in this if statement. You can say plus 1. And here I'm going to return this like so, but else I just want to remove the ref. Just like so, but of course we need to make sure this is going to be optional. So the error will be gone. Nice. So let's try to refresh and see when I scroll. As you can see, we have loading, 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 and then the data. Cool. So let's go to network and let's try to refresh that again. Page 1, page 2, page 3, 5, 6, 7, etc. It's working and it's pretty good. You can just change the loading to any animation you want. It's depend on what your creativity. So that's it. I think you learn a lot how to use infinite query in TanStack React Query, and hopefully this is helpful, and see you guys in the next video.